Hello there, everybody. It's time to do some questions for year 8. Um, let's go. This could also be useful for the junior cert, but they're iGCSE year or whatever. They're just iGCSE questions. They just happen to be in year 8 for my previous school. Shout out to the year 8 girls in Qatar. Thanks for your questions. Yeah, appreciate that. And thanks for all the nice comments. Hope you're all doing good. I'm sure you are. Anyway, let's get on with it. Here we go. So the first one, we do some factorization. This is going to be very fast because it's not too difficult. So let's look at the first one here. So what you have to, the first question, 1A. So what you have to do is you first have to look at the numbers and take out the common factor, and then you look at the letters and take out the common factor. All right. So let's have a look at this. So we have 10A plus 25. So basically what you need to do, you need to have something like this. 7x plus 2. This is the style of answer that they're looking for, like 6x minus 3. This type of arrangement. So let's go. What's a common factor of 10 and 25? Well, the highest common factor is 5. 5 divides into 10, 5 divides into 25. So we're going to say that equals 5. Okay, let's look at the letters. So we have an A here. We do not have an A here beside this term. So that is not a common factor. So the only common factor is 5. And then we start our bracket. What do we multiply by 5 to get 10A? Well, we multiply 5 by 2 to get 10, and then we have A. So it's going to be 2A. 5 times 2A is 10A. And then we're going to have plus 5 times what gives you 25? 5. And that's it. So your answer is 5 bracket 2A plus 5. So yeah, factorization is the opposite of expansion. Let's look at the next one. So we have 7w squared minus 4w. So this is the opposite case. You'll see what I mean in a second. Let's look at the numbers. What's a common factor of 7 and 4? Well, 7 is a prime number. So its only factors are 1 and 7. 4, the factors of 4 are 1, 2, and 4. So there's no common factor. So there's no number on the outside. Now let's look at letters. So we have w squared and we have w. Now if you're very good, you'll know that that means the common, the highest common factor is w. Now if you don't know that, I guess there's a few ways you could do it. You could say, when you look at the letters, what's the lowest power? Well, this is 2 and there's a secret 1 here, right? So obviously it's just w. Or you could say w squared is actually w times w, isn't it? So you can see the common factor is just w. And that's it. Maybe I made that overly complicated. But anyway, I'm hoping you get it. I'll leave that there. You don't have to write those things in. I was just explaining. So the common factor between these two terms is w. And then we're going to put our bracket. So we've done the numbers, did the letters. W times what gives you 7w squared? Well, w times what gives you w squared? It's just going to be w. And then we have 7, right? So 7w minus. Well, really, I should say, what do you multiply by w to get minus 4w? So the answer is minus 4, okay? That's probably the best way to look at it. What do you multiply by w to get minus 4w? So it's w times 7w is 7w squared. W times negative 4 is negative, or whatever, minus 4w, negative 4, whatever you want to call it. I always call it -4. I know I think it's more like a grammar thing. But whatever, -4, -4. So while I'm here, I may as well do expansion. So here you're going to multiply p squared times p and p squared times -5. That negative, the sign is always stuck to the number or the term to the right. So p squared times p is p cubed. P squared times -5 is -5p squared. Expand and simplify. I'm going to show you two ways to do this. So method 1. So in method 1, let's just rewrite that. So it's going to be x minus 3 times x plus 7. All right, so this is the way I was taught in school. But I will do it another way because my students this year here in Ireland actually do it a slightly different way, which is actually when you get to multiplying brackets with 3 or 4 terms in the long distant future, especially if you go to university and stuff. The second method would probably be friendlier, but I'll show you the first method, the method that I learned at school, or the main method anyway. So you get x times x, that equals x squared, and then we're going to get x times +7 is plus 7x. And I'll just change the color so you can follow. So then we get -3 times x, which is -3x. And then we get -3 times +7, which is -21. So then they want us to expand and simplify, so we just collect like terms. Well, that equals. We've x squared here. Do we have any other x squared? No. We've 7x here. Do we have any other just x's yet? We have -3x. So we're going to have, we have +7x and we have -3x. So that will give us +4x. And then we have -21. And that is your answer. Okay, so you just put it wherever. That's it. Okay, we'll move on to direct proportion. When a photograph is taken, the exposure time t is directly proportional to the square of the size f of the opening in a camera lens. Okay. Okay, so t equals 0.02, f equals 8. So I didn't want to start on a square one, actually. Here's a square root. Ooh, I thought I had given one that without a square. Okay, I'm just going to pause this. See, can I get an example without a square? And then we'll go on to the one with a square. All right, let's resume. Just make sure I am recording. Yes. All right, so the value of E is directly proportional to P. So this is going to be a basic one, and then we'll go on to the tougher. So the value of E is directly proportional to P. When E equals 20, P equals 10. Find an equation relating E and P. All right, so basically what we do here is we first change the color of our pen. So we're going to say E equals, so you have this constant. So a constant is just a number. It's just a name for a number, okay? That doesn't change. So it's called a constant of proportionality, and we just call it K. So we say E equals Kp. So what we have to find out is what is K, and then we can rewrite the formula. Okay. So well, we know that when E is 20, P is 10. So we can say that implies, or that means 20 equals Kp. So K times 10. So basically here you have 20 equals 10K. Well, if 20 is 10K, what's K? It's obviously 2. But anyway, so we'll just say that implies, just in case you get a harder one, 20 over 10 equals k, so k equals 2, okay? Therefore, whatever k equals 2. K equals 2, so the answer is going to be, answer equals, E equals kp, so E equals kp 2p. And that's it. E equals 2p, and that is your answer. Done. That's it. Because we were told E equals kp, or we told them. So, yeah, that's it. E equals kp, we had to find k, we found it was 2. And that's it. All right, let's go on to a tougher one. So, what's going on here? So, when a photograph is taken, the exposure time t is directly proportional to the square, so that is important, square of the size of f, of the opening in a camera lens. When t equals 0.2, f equals 8. This is the very same as the previous one, except here we have a square, and the numbers are just not as friendly. That's all. So instead of 20, we have 0.02. Instead of 8, we have, or 10, we have 8. No big deal. And it's the square of f. Okay, so t is directly proportional to the square of f. So t is directly proportional to the square of f. So let's go. So we start off as we did before. We could say t equals, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be k, so it's k, and then we have f. Now, it's the square of f, so it's kf squared. There you go. So that's the basic formula we start off with. So just put in the values. So that implies t is 0.02. 0.02 equals k times f squared, which is, this case is 8 squared. Got it from here and here. That implies 0.02 equals 64k. Okay. That implies 0.02 over 64 equals k. Now, there's a couple of ways you can do this. You can leave it as a fraction, or you can leave it as a decimal. It's totally up to you. So it's totally up to you. If it was me personally, I'd leave it as a fraction. So that's what I'm going to do. I just realized I didn't show you the second way in that previous question. Well, I will do that. All right. So let's go. So that is, if you do that on a calculator, you get 1 over 3200, because 0.02 is 1 over 50. 50 times 64 is 3200. Okay, so you're going to get k is that. Now, you might, if you really like decimals, if you love decimals, you might get on your calculator that equals 3.125 by 10 to the minus 4. If you like that kind of thing, you can write it in, but I'd prefer to keep it as a fraction. Cool. So let's rewrite the equation. So we have t equals kf squared. So we can rewrite this as t, oh, that was a very nervous t there. T equals kf squared, so it's 1 over 3200 f squared, or if you like, just to make it a bit neater, t equals f squared over 3200. And that is it. Now calculate the value of f when t is 0.0098. Well, this is just substitution. Okay, so we know this. We just figured it out. So this is our formula. So they're saying find out f when t is that. Okay, well, there's a few ways you can do this. You can change the subject first, or you can just stick in the values. I would actually say just stick in the values is the simplest way to go. All right, so that implies, well, t is 0.0098. 0.0098 equals f squared over 3,200. We want to get f, so we're going to multiply across by 3,200. So that implies whatever, 3,200 times 0.0098 equals f squared. Now, me personally, I wouldn't bother multiplying this out. Just give me just a second. So just reduce that. I wouldn't bother multiplying that out. But you might. So, yeah. If it was me, I would do this. I would say that implies f equals, it just equals the square root of this rubbish over here, doesn't it? 3200. It's the square root of that. Now, that's fine. That's perfect. But I don't know. Yeah. You guys might actually multiply this out on your calculator. So let's see. If you did, you would have got 31.36, okay? So that's the way I'll do it. I'm going to undo this because I'm sure some of you would be comfortable doing that, but maybe not all of you. So I'm just going to actually multiply this out. So 31.36 equals f squared. So that implies f equals the square root of 31.36. So it's obviously going to be less than 6 and bigger than 5. And what do you get? 5.6. All right. So the answer is f equals 5.6. And that's it. Cool. Let's move on. T is directly proportional to the root of x. So I'm just going to fly through this, okay? So hold on. So t, write a formula for t in terms of x. So you want t equals blah, blah, blah. That's what that means. So t equals something is directly proportional to the root of x. So it's going to be the root of x, square root of x. That was a terrible, that's my old school x. I'm going to leave it and not bother rewriting it. But don't forget your k, okay? And then you just fill in the values. So that implies 400 equals k times root of 625. And if you're very good, that implies you'll know that root 625 is 25, okay? So it's 25k. You can do it on your calculator if you don't believe me. And also if you do believe me. So then you just say 400 over 25 equals k. Okay, because we're multiplying by 25, so to undo that, we just want k. We want to get rid of this. We only want k. So to get rid of multiply by 25, you divide by 25. So I guess in k is 16. Hope this is right. I'm sure it is. Why is it question 3? Let's have a look. Question 3. Well, yeah. 16. Genius or what? So k is 16. Great. Find the formula for t in terms of x. Okay, so let's rewrite this. So we're going to say t equals 16 root x. Okay, cool, and that's it. Calculate t when x is this. Again, it's just substitution. So t equals 16 root x. That implies t equals 16 root 56. I'm guessing this is going to be like 7.5 or something. So it should be like 100 and something, 106, I don't know. So 16 root 56.25, 120, there you go. 120. And that's it. I should have got that. That was easy. 75% of 16, 12 times 10. Anyway, whatever. 120. Sorry, I was doing something in my head. And that's your answer. Just do it on your calculator. All right. Y is directly proportional to x cubed. Same thing, it's just a different order, different power. So we're going to write down y is directly proportional to x cubed, so it's equal to something x cubed. Guess what the letter is? K. We need to find out what k is. So that implies when y is 250, x is 10. So watch out, don't get it mixed up here. X is 10, y is 250. So you can say 250 equals k times 10 cubed. That implies 250 equals 1000k. Now, you should be able to divide by 1000 pretty easily. Anyway, I'll go through the motions. Or 1000 equals k. So that implies k is 0.25. And whatever, I'll just write here. That implies k equals 0.25. Now don't forget to write the answer to the actual question. They want a formula for y in terms of x. So the formula is going to be, wow, this is wrong here. This should say y equals. They're saying formula for y in terms of x. That means y equals da da da. So what they actually did here in the iGCSE paper was wrong. So it's going to be y equals kx cubed. So it's 0.25 x cubed. And again, if you like fractions, which I do, you could have said y, or you could say y equals a quarter x squared, or x cubed, excuse me, or y equals x cubed over 4. Exactly the same thing. And that's it. Calculate the value of x when y equals 54. So we're going to say 54 equals x cubed over 4. It's going to be pretty easy. That implies you multiply across by 4 to get rid of divide by 4, because we want x. So you're going to get 216 equals x cubed. Now, if you're very good, you'll know that 6 cubed is 216. Anyway, maybe you don't know that. So that implies, so you just want to get x. Well, it's the cubed root of 216. So it means x equals 6. And that's it. You do it on a calculator. Okay, I'm going to go back to this question that I did earlier, because I don't want to edit the video. I've got other things to do. I've got a lot of money to make and stuff. It's tough being a millionaire, you know what I mean? Let's go. So the second way to do this would be, it's called splitting the brackets. So you can say this actually equals, that equals, it's going to equal x times this. So it's going to be x times x plus 7. And then you have minus 3 times x plus 7. So minus 3 times x plus 7. So you just split the brackets. All right? Quite simple. And actually, when you get into like 3 or 4 terms in the brackets, yeah, it's very good. Anyway, that equals, so then you multiply in x squared plus 7x minus 3x minus 21, and you're in the exact same situation as you are there. These guys are like terms, so you say that equals x squared minus 4x minus 21. So you can use this, I think in England they call it FOIL, but anyway, whatever. I just call it multiplying brackets. And then here you can split the brackets. So you can pretend it's x times that, and then the second part you pretend is minus 3 times that. And yeah, that's it. Alrighty then, we proceed. Oh, these guys. Alright, let's look at question 5. So the diagram shows a parallelogram. So first, ABCD, the first thing I would do, parallelogram. I would write that's parallel to that, and these are parallel here. So I would straight away mark that in because that's just going to help you. So mark those in, maybe in black would be better. But anyway, right. So we're definitely going to have Z shapes here. But let's look straight away. Z, see any Z shapes here? I do. So there, down to here. So that's going to go back, okay? So you could just draw that in. Sorry. You could just draw that in actually. Here. Sugar. There, eventually. And then over here you have a Z shape. And there. All right, cool. Next thing we know, we have an isosceles triangle. So it's an isosceles triangle, parallelogram. These are two big things. So let's go up to the isosceles triangle. So that and that. So what do we know? The angles at the base of an isosceles triangle are equal. So this angle here and this guy here, they're going to be equal, right? So that's good. So we have to work out the angle DEF, which is DEF, which is that angle up there. Okay. Let's just call it X. Okay, let's call it X. Well, if that's X, that down there has to be X. Yeah. Okay, let's go. We know BCD is 58. Okay. So let's go. And we have to write a reason for each. Unfortunately, this is what you have to do. I don't like it either, but let's just do it. First step, what do we know? Write down the first thing that you know. Now, you might start in a different position than me. Actually, if I was doing that question, I'd get this angle straight away. And then I'd get that, and then I just get those two. But anyway, I'd say the way you probably would know is, well, we know this angle here. Do we know any other angles here? Let's fill them in. Well, in a parallelogram, the opposite angles are equal. That and that are equal. So that's 58 degrees. So let's just write that down, okay? So BAD, so angle, I'm just going to write the angle symbol. BAD equals 58 degrees. Okay, that's our statement. Now let's give a reason. Opposite angles in a parallelogram equal. And that's that. All right. Now, what's our next step? Now, there's a Z shape. So you know 58 and that, for example, are equal, right? Because they're alternate angles. But you might not have seen that. What do you know about the angles in a parallelogram? They add up to 360, right? So 58, 58, this and this add up to 360. Now these two guys are the same because they're opposite. So let's just call that Y and that Y. So let's go. Let's just do this. So we know 2y plus 2y plus 58 plus 58 plus 58 degrees. Well, that equals 360 degrees. All right. So that implies 2y plus 116 degrees equals 360 degrees. So we just take 116 away. So that implies 2y equals 244 degrees. And just divide by 2. So that implies y equals 122 degrees. 122 degrees. So we know that this thing, let's just move it. Y equals 122 degrees. Cool. So let's give our reason. So what's that angle? ADC. ADC. So angle ADC equals 112 degrees. Now you could just call it Y. Like you've marked it in they should be able to see that. You know. So let's just give our reason. What was the reason? Oh, angles in a parallelogram add to 180 or 360 degrees. And then we just divided by 2, didn't we? So we got 2y because we knew that the opposite angles are equal. So that's why we had 2y. And opposite angles in a parallelogram are equal. So they add to 360 and we know that those two are equal, so we divided by 2. Right. You mightn't necessarily have to put that second bit in. I'm just going to mark this in a different color so you can actually follow what I'm doing. So 1, 2, 3. Now if you want to, you could actually just write beside that the order if you wanted to. Well, if not, then yeah, whatever. But it's just kind of cool. Now that might jump out to you here. That angle there, these two are going to be the same. So angle EDF, so EDF equals 122 degrees because they're vertically opposite, right? So straight away, number 3, EDF, oopsie daisy, I really should put angle in here, shouldn't I? 3. I think they even do that in England. But in Ireland here we do it. Angle EDF equals 122 degrees. And the reason is vertically opposite angles are equal. So I'm just going to write that in there. Vertically opposite angles are equal. Cool. So that's 122 degrees. And then looking at the triangle up here, why did I write down 112? 122 degrees. We know that angles in a triangle add to 180, and we know that x, this angle here, and this angle here, whatever, this angle and this angle are the same because they're the base of an isosceles triangle. So let's say that. So it's what? What's the angle we're looking for? DEF. All right. So we're going to get angle DEF now. DEF equals, well, we don't know what it equals right now, but let's do it. So we have 180 minus 122, that'll give us plus 2x. So 180 degrees minus 122 degrees equals 2x. So that implies, whatever that is, 58 degrees equals 2x. Divide by 2, that implies 29 degrees equals x. All right, so x is 29, so we can say DEF is 29 degrees. Now, how do we know that? So we said the angles in a triangle add to 180, and then we divided by 2 because the angles at the base of an isosceles triangle are equal. So let's just use that. angles in a triangle add to 180 degrees. And angles at the base of an isosceles triangle, very cool, at the base of an isosceles triangle are equal. Coolio, and that's it. I don't like writing out all the reasons. I know it's a bit of a pain, but whatever. You get it done. And that's it. 29 degrees is your answer. Coolio. That's it. Work out the value of x. Oh, I love these. My year 8 girls are brilliant at these. Very, very, very strong. So let's go. So, well, we know that angles in a triangle add to 180 degrees. So we know 30 plus 4x plus 10 plus x plus 2 is 180, right? So 30, because those three angles added together, it gives 180. 30 plus 4x plus 10 plus x plus 20 equals 180. That implies, so let's do the numbers first. So we got 30, we got plus 10, and we got plus 20. So 30 and 10 is 40, and 20 is 60. So 60 plus, we got 4x and x, so 5x equals 180. All right, so that implies 5x equals, well, it's equal to 180 minus 60, which is 120. And that implies x equals, you divide by 5 to get x. This is going to be 24 degrees. 24. It's just 24 because the degree is on the outside here. So let's check it. 30 plus 44 is 54. 4 times 24 is 96 plus 10 is 106. So 106 plus 74 is 180. Now, this is actually 106 degrees when you add up. That's 30 and that's 44 degrees. Now, that doesn't look like 106 degrees. It's less than 90, but it says diagram not accurately drawn, okay? The maths adds up. Oakley dokley. So we have to work out the size of the angle marked x. We don't have to give any reason, thank God. First thing jumping out of its skin to me, that and that, parallel lines. So we're going to have Z shapes here. We're going to have alternate angles, vertically opposite angles, corresponding angle, all this stuff. All right, let's go. So work out the size of x, we have to find x. Okay, first thing, I think I did this with my year 8s earlier this year before I abandoned them. Before I cruelly abandoned them. Well, that's what the school says, but I wouldn't believe everything that school tells you. Actually, I wouldn't believe anything that they tell you. That's my advice. So let's have a look. Work out the size of the angle marked x. Who's making free videos for the students in their free time? It's not the school, I can tell you that. Anyway, enough of the bitterness. Let's go. We have to find x. Okay. So let's just start with what we know, okay? Start with what we know. Now, that's 143 degrees, but if we carry that on a bit, it's going to be 180, isn't it? So we can say, whatever, ECD or DCE. ECD is, so I'm going to say angle, so that's going to be my angle symbol, just so you know. ECD, so it's that angle there, yeah, is going to be 180 minus 143. Oh, let's put degrees so you know what we're doing. So we know that's an angle on a straight line is 180. So take 143 away, you should get 37 degrees. So just mark it in. That's 37 degrees. Cool. Now, these guys are parallel. So what would you know about this angle here and that angle there? They're corresponding, okay? They're corresponding angle. Now maybe you didn't know that. So what you can do instead, you see, let me make this, I'll use like a highlighter. So do you see that Z shape? Okay. Well, you know that's 76. Well, what would that be there? That would be 76 degrees. So that means this angle here is 76 degrees. So mark that in, okay? Mark these things in. Now, you could have just said that and that are corresponding. That's fine. But yeah, see, we got that. So let's fill in this angle here. So let's do a little bit of work. Because angle, whatever, CDE. CDE. Well, in the triangle CDE, we have that plus that plus that is 180. So if we do 180 minus 76 minus 37, and that's going to be what? So 180 minus 76 is 104. Minus 37 is going to be 67 degrees. Boom. So let me just zoom in a bit. Probably should have zoomed in a while ago. I'm going to write it in a different color just so I can follow what's going on. That's 67 degrees. Cool. Well, if that's 67 degrees, what's x? X is vertically opposite. So that implies x equals 67 degrees. And that is it. All right. Next one. Let's actually, let's just take this down here. Bring it down here. And let's remove that. All right. Work at the value of x. I had these twins in my class. These twins in my class. They always sat at the front. They were always very good at these questions. Should I name them? Nah. Anyway, let's have a. There were a lot of other people who were good at these questions in the class, so I remember you all. Don't worry. You're probably not worried anyway. BC is a straight line, and BCD is a triangle. Great. Work out the value of x. Okay. Now there's a few different ways. The easiest way is this external angle equals that plus that. I promise you. X equals 93 plus 42. And that equals 135 degrees. Okay, you don't believe me, but let's work it out. Let's work it out. So this angle here, let's just call it y. So we know x plus y is 180 degrees, right? Now, we don't know what y is though, but we know that y plus 93 plus 42 is 180 because it's a triangle. So to get y, we're going to do 180 degrees minus 93 degrees. I'm just putting in the degrees so you know it's an angle, right? It just keeps your mind on track. Minus 42 equals y. So that implies, well, 180 minus 93 is 87. Minus 42 is 45 degrees. So y equals 45 degrees. Now, if y is 45 degrees, right, we know it's 45 degrees. But we know that angle there is 180, right? Because it's a straight line. So x plus y is 45. So we know 180 minus 45 will give us x. So 180 degrees minus 45 degrees equals x. That means 135 degrees equals x. All right, told ya. So that's your answer. Boom. Finito. All right, we'll move on. Jeez, how many more of these do I have to do? Okay, work out the value of y. This should be straightforward. That's a right angle, 90 degrees. You know, all of these together add to 360. So you're going to say it's 360 minus 114 minus 100 minus 90 equals y. So that equals, well, or that implies, so 360 minus 100 is 260, minus 90 is 170, minus 114 is 56 degrees. So 56 degrees. That's it. Give a reason for your answer. Angles around a point. I know you're going to say angles in a circle, but actually this is what it is. Angles around a point, sum to or add to, whatever, add to 360 degrees. That's it. And that's what we used. Do I want to do this? All right, let's just do it. ABCD and FGH are parallel straight lines. Important. So we're going to have Z shapes. Let's just mark in the Z shape. Z shapes. All right, well, here's a Z shape. You're going to have a backwards kind of Z shape here. All right, look what we got here. Our little friend's isosceles triangle. So, yeah, let's use that. So work out JGH. So it's that angle there they want to figure out, JGH. So how are we going to do that? Let's fill in what we know. Look at the top triangle, 44 degrees. That's the only angle we have. This is isosceles, so you know that that angle and that angle are the same. So let's just call it X, and call that X. So we know, give a reason for each stage you're working. Okay, I'll show you now. Okay, I'd call it X. Whatever. Let's go angle EBC. Okay, angle EBC. 180 minus 44 equals 156. And then 156 over 2, because there's 2 of them, equals 78. So 78 degrees. So you know that there's 78 and that's 78, because we said the three angles add to 180, you divide it by 2. So you have to give the reason now. Okay. First one, angles in a triangle add to 180 degrees. And the second one is angles at the base of an isosceles, spelled it right, triangle are equal. That's it. All right. I'd suggest this is the way you should do it. Just do it. Get the angle right in the reason. Get the angle right in the reason. Next one. Right. There's a few here now. So you could say like that and that are vertically opposite, and then that and this, they're alternate. You know what I mean? There's a whole host of them actually. There's co-interior angles. I'm just going to go with what I want to do, because I don't want to spend all day on this. So we know, what did we say that was? 78 degrees. assuming. That's 78 degrees there. So let's bring it down there. That's 78 degrees. So we know actually this is 78 degrees because their corresponding angle, that's above the parallel. They have the transversal, that's above the parallel, and then we have the same transversal. So what is that? BGH. So angle BGH, BGH. So whatever, you can actually just say 7. You can just write the answer beside it if you want. 78 degrees. Okay, the reason was corresponding angles are equal, right? Corresponding angles are equal. Done. Good stuff. We move on. Now we need that angle there. Well, the easiest way I would say is, you know, that's a straight line. So that's 180 degrees. 180 minus 78 degrees gives us our answer. So JGH, let's use a different color. So angle JGH equals, so it's going to be 180 minus 78, which is 102 degrees. So let's just write down how we know, let's just write down that 180 minus 78 equals 102 degrees. All right, because why? Angles are angles on a straight line sum to 180 degrees. Angles on a straight line add to 180 degrees. And that's it. Boom, baby boy. So your answer is 102 degrees. And we move on. Is this right? It is right. Is it? I don't think it is it? How did I do that? Jeez. My God, that's not right. Because 180 minus that is 136. I'm sure some of you might have spotted that already. But I just spotted it right at the end. God. Ugh. See, I did go back and check. I was just, it's always good to check. Um, sugar, what am I doing now? It's always good to check. Oh, I was just looking back and I was like, does this make sense? Yeah. And then I was like, no, it actually doesn't. So it's 136 over 2, which is actually 68 degrees. So there you go. Sure, some of you are like shouting through your screens. Let's change that. All right. So actually, yeah, you got to change a good few of these. It's no big deal. It's always good to check back because, yeah, it just is. So there you go. What did we say? 180 minus 68 equals 112 degrees. All right, cool. So the answer is 112. It is good to it is good to double check. God, I wrote it again. 112 degrees. That should be 68. Coolio. 68 degrees, 68 degrees. All right. Let's just check in the back to make sure that they agree with us. What question is that? Question 8. 56. Really? Sorry, it was question 9. Man, losing my mind. So it's 112 degrees. Yeah, there you go. 112 degrees. Sorry, question 8 was 56. 135 and 56. Okay. 135, yes. 56, yes. And we got 112. Yeah, perfect. All right. Yeah, so this shows you. Always good to double check. Let's move on. And let's drag this down. And this video is going way too long. Okay, I can barely get it in there. That's all good. The table below shows info about a number of mobile phones owned by 40 families. Write down the mode, write down the mean. All right, so this is mean from a table. So frequency, so number of, so one family has no phones, so that would count as 0. All right, five families have one phone. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 12 families have 2, so it's 2, 2, 2, 12 times. All right, so it's a big list, right? So a nice neat way, instead of writing out all these numbers, is just put it in a table. So what you do is you should write down here, just multiply the frequency by this, okay? So let's say, if you want to write down, you can say phones times frequency, F, okay? Phones times F. So let's go. 1 times 0, 0. 5 times 1, 5. 12 times 2, 24. So that's the total number of phones, okay? 9 families have 3 phones, that's 27. 11 families have 4 phones, that's 44. 2 families have 10 phones, that's, or sorry, 2 families have 5 phones, that's 10. All right, so cool, we did that. Now, we have to find the mode. So the mode is, MO is the important part, the most common or the most frequent. Well, what's the most frequent? Here's the frequency. The most frequent is 2, the highest frequency, okay? The mode 2. Work out the mean. Okay, so the mean is the sum of the values. So mean is the sum of the values divided by the number of values. Yes. Divided by the number of values. Alrighty. So let's proceed. Well, in this case, it's the number. So they want to write per family. Okay, number of phones per family. So that's going to be on the top. We're going to add the number of phones together. Okay, we'll sum the phones. So it's going to be total. So on the bottom is going to be phones, or at the top is going to be phones. So it's the number of phones per family, okay? Families. So we need to find out the mean number of phones per family. So here we go. The actual number of phones is going to be 0 plus 5, which is 5, plus 24, which is 29, plus 27, which is 56, plus 44, which is 100, plus 10, which is 110. So there's a total of 110 phones. And number of families, so the frequency is, this tells us the number of families, right? So it's 1 plus 5 is 6, plus 12 is 18, plus 9 is 27, excuse me, plus 11 is 38, plus 2 is 40. So it's going to be 110 over 40. So if you do that in a calculator, you would get 2.75. So most the average family has 2.75 phones, and that's it. So you get the mean. Right, next one. Well, they love putting questions on the previous page here, don't they? Here we go. Whatever. I'm just gonna put it here. You know what? I'm gonna put it here. Let's just take a second. I just like to have my space. All right. All right. There we go. Nice. So, Becky counted the number of matches in each of 50 boxes. So we're told there's 50 boxes, right? Actually, we don't care about this. Let's get out of the way. Right, so there's 50 boxes. So let's just add them together to make sure. 3 plus 7 is 10, plus 12 is 22, 45, 50. All right, 50. Cool. So there's 50 boxes. Work out the mean number of matches per box. So mean will be the number of matches over the number of boxes. That'll give us the mean matches per box. Number of boxes. Okay. So frequency. Well, this is the number of boxes, 50 boxes. So if you want, you could just write that down here, boxes. So the number of matches, actually, so the matches, the actual the total number of matches is going to be over here, even though they have it there. It's going to be 3 times 45, because 3 boxes have 45 matches, that's 135. 7 times 46 is 322. 12 times 47, so that's 470 plus 94, which is 564. Wow, 23 times 48. God. What is it? 1150. I'm gonna say 1104, but I'm just gonna do it on my calculator just to be sure. That rhymes and it's also right. 1104. Yeah, this one is easy. 196. So you just times that times that times that times. 1 times 50 is 50. So the actual number of matches is going to be 135 plus 322 plus 564 plus 1104 plus 196 plus 50. It says 2371. So 2371. So this is the very same as what we did before, except it's just more, just bigger numbers, okay? So we get them. So the mean is going to be 2371 over 50. So that'll give us the number of matches per box on average. So it's 47.42. There you go. 47.42. Cool. Right. We move, well, that makes sense because there's 23, 48, so that's kind of dragging it up above 47. All right. Question 12, the mean height of a group of children is 165 centimeters. One child whose height is 155 leads the group. Find the mean height of the other 5 children. So there's 6 children. Their mean height is 165. One of the children leaves, so there's just 5 left. Now that kid was 155 centimeters. Okay, now there's 5 left, and we have to find their new mean height. Well, we had 6 children, right? 6 children, and their mean height. Okay, mean height mean height is 165 centimeters. So actually their total height is, or was, 6 times 165. That would be their total height. So I'm guessing this is 990. So let's just do it. Yeah, 9. So in total they had, if you've stacked them all on top of each other, they have 990 centimeters. Now one of them left, okay, and they are 155 centimeters. So now, so their new total height, right, equals 990 minus 155. So that should give you 835 centimeters. Okay, so in this case, we have 5 children, right? Because one of them left. 5 children. How long is this video going? It must be nearly an hour at this stage. Ah. Yes. Oh my God. Anyway, let's just keep going. So what's their mean height? Well, it's going to be 835. So the mean, so whatever, you can call it the new mean if you want. The new mean is 835 over 5. Yeah? Which equals, should be 167 centimeters. 167. That's it. Cool. Not the neatest, but you get the point. Actually, let's just tidy this up a little bit. Group. Yeah. A little bit better. Group it all up. And there you go. Done. Alrighty. The last one. Let's just check the answer. I'm sure it's right. Yeah, there you go. 167, 47.42, 2.752, blah, blah, blah. All right. Let's go finish this. Do you want to just do this yourself? Table shows info about the marks of 20 students. So they're saying there's 20 students in the science test. So the frequency, this should be the number of students. So 2 students got 6, 4 students got 7, 5 students got 8, 8 students got 9, 1 student got 10. Okay, so the total number of students, so if you wanted, you could write total here. It's going to be 2 plus 4 is 6, plus 5 is 11, plus 8 is 19, plus 1 is 20. Yeah, makes sense, 20. Now in the first question, we weren't told that. So if you want here, you can just rewrite marks, even though it has mark here. So 2 of them got 6, so 2 times 6 is 12. We're going to multiply them. So the total of 12 marks. 4 students got 7, that's a 28. 5 students got 8, that's 40. 8 students got 9, that's 72. 1 student got 10, great. So the total number of marks actually, 12 plus 28 is 40, plus 40 is 80, plus 72 is 152, plus 10 is 162. The mean, so the mean is going to be the number of marks divided by number of marks divided by the number of students. That's the marks per student. Number of students, I'm just going to write S's. So it's 162 over 20, and that equals 8.1. Now let's see, does that make sense? 8.1. Well, let's go to 8. So it's going to be, yeah, there's a lot of 9s, but there's only 1 10. And then there's a good few 7s, a couple of 6s, and a few 8s. Yeah, so that makes sense. Okay, cool. That's it. Yeah, there you go, 8.1. That's how you do it. And yeah, just make sure, like, double check your answers like I did with that one. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and share. Make a donation to make me even richer. And yeah, good luck in your exams. Do your best. You're all very good. And yeah, don't be too hard on yourself, but do your best. Give it your best shot. And you're going to be fine. See you later. Oh yeah, and by the way, I'll leave a link in the first comment with a PDF of the paper in it. Okay, adios.